and then we're going open quotation marks, Control V, close quotation marks. That's telling it what file it wants to look at, comma, index col is equal to none. So what that's saying is there's no index column in the underlying data. So just save for good measure. Copy that. Paste it over here just to make sure it works. Nothing happens. Okay, so now it should have read it in. So if you type co-list, enter. Whoo! So in Python, we've just read in the list of all of the stocks. So now just some quick things. If you want to bring back just the symbol column, you would type co-list, square brackets, and then the name of the column, symbol, enter. That brings back just the symbol column. Now we can bring back just the first 5 lines of the symbol column. Hit the up arrow, it'll bring back the last command that you typed in, and then square bracket, colon 5, square bracket, and that brings back just the first 5 lines. Okay, so now say we wanted to bring back just line 3, you would do the same thing. So up arrow brings back the last command, and then we want just line 3, so put 3 in there, enter, brings back AAN. So now we're going to use this later, so just put that in your back pocket. Okay. Okay, so now we've read in the list of all the companies. The next thing is we want to collect the market cap data. We want to scrape it from the internet. So let's just label this next block of code collect market cap data. Cool. Now to do that, we need to use a function called beautiful soup, as these things are wonderfully named by coders. So functions for web scraping. So this is where we're going to save or import the function that we're going to need to do the web scraping. So from BS4 imports beautiful soup, and then we need another function called URL library do. So import URL lib do. Okay, we've imported the functions. Let's just copy that, paste it here, just check that it works. Great, it works. So now we're going to start just collecting the market cap data. So there are a couple of functions that we just need to punch in to just make sure that everything works. So just stick with me. You type in header is equal to, and I'll just type this along with me, curly brackets, in quotes, user agent, quote, colon, quote, Mozilla /5.0 quote. And what this does is it's needed to prevent 403 error. Next, req is equal to, so this is request URL lib2, so it's using that function up here, lib2 dot request open brackets. Now these are the arguments that you can put into this particular function. Okay. Now what we're going to do is, just to demonstrate this is working first, let's go to the Zax website. Now watch, if I delete that, just that address with Apple at the end, put enter, and hey, the page loads. So now we want to copy all of that, and we're going to put it into Python in quotes, and then we want headers is equal to header, which refers to this particular line, the line just above. Okay. So, next thing, we need a line saying page is equal to URL lib 2 dot URL. Oh, there we go. URL open. It comes up automatically. URL open. And we want to put request. So what that's doing is it's taking this whole long line and just putting it over there. So this rec represents this whole long line. And then soup is equal to beautiful soup. And what we want in there is page, comma, LXML. That is what type of parser is being used. Right. So let's just paste this all in over here and make sure that all this code works. So Control V, enter, wait for Python. There we go, nothing happened. So that's good. The code ran, all these things are set up. So the next thing is we're going to use some for loops. So just very, very briefly, what is a for loop? A for loop is just a way to make code loop. So if I were to just, as a test, go for I is equal to, so for I in range 1 to 10. So this is making the computer count to 10, colon, print I, and then I just copy that. So there we go. It counts. Now the way Python works is it leaves out the very last number in this particular range, but there we go, 1 to 9. So let's just put two for loops within each other. Now just a note here, if you'll notice the code over here is indented. So when you're using a function like a for loop or an if statement, the next line needs to be indented. And everything after that must be sort of in that same line, same indentation for Python to actually use it. Okay, so print I, so that's just demonstrating. So let's just go 1 to 5, and then let's do another for loop for j in range 1 to 5. So another indentation, we want to print I, comma j. So we want to print I and we want to print j. So just demonstrate this. So there we go. 1, and then it counts to 4. 2, counts to 3. You get the idea. So that's just a demonstration of a for loop. So now we're going to use for loops now to go through the data of this particular page. So when we run this little bit of code over here, what that's basically done is it's read this page into the memory in Python. So let's go type this for loop. For tr in soup dot find all. There we go, the functions, and we want to find all table class underscore is equal to abut underscore bottom. So that's the and then a colon at the end. So that's the first for loop. Next for loop, for td in tr, so the thing above, dot find underscore all td colon. So we've got two loops going on here, where it's basically searching the data of the web page. We go if td dot text is equivalent. So two equal signs means equivalent to market cap. So we're putting this if statement, which is basically saying if it finds this text, market cap, what we want it to do is then, just to test this and show, we want to go print td dot text. So it's found the market cap text, so print it out, and then td dot find next underscore sibling td dot text. So this beautiful soup function is very clever in that it goes and looks for where market cap is on the web page, and then this is the sibling. It then goes and prints out this, finds this particular value. So very clever function. So let's just test this out now. So take that for loop, paste that over here, enter, enter, bang! Market cap 1063.44 for Apple, and if you go to Apple, 1063.44. We're in business. The next step is to now turn this into a loop and on an industrial scale pull this data out. So that's what we're going to do next. Right, so now we've got this code that pulls out the market cap for Apple, and we know it works for just one stock. So now we need to turn this into an industrial thing so that it'll do it for 6,000 stocks. Because if we go to this co-list, type in len, so how long is co-list? 6,558 stocks we need to do this for. I'm not going to do this manually. if you just type colist, enter, there we go, 6,558 rows, 3 columns. So we need to program the computer to do this 6,500 times. So now to do that, we want to put this in a loop. So the way to do that is we go for I in range 0, len colist. So how long is the company list, which is the 6,000. We want it to do all of this. But remember what I said about indentation. So select this whole block. If you click on here, it says expected an indented block. Select this whole block, push tab, bang. That's now indented, and it will run 6,500 times. Okay. But now the next thing that we need to change is, right now this is just going to go to the Apple page 6,500 times. So we need to change this so that it goes to just the stock. The first one on the list and the second one on the list. So let's just make I is equal to 1, just to demonstrate this. And we want to go colist, square brackets, symbol column, and we want to return what's in I. Enter. Hey, look, stock with the AA code. So now that little bit of code, we want to go and by this web address over here, just go plus that little bit of code. So now if you select this whole piece, Control C, Control V, enter, it brings back the web address of AA. So let's just test this out. Copy that, paste it into the browser, Control V, so AA, runs Alcoa, market cap of 6.72 billion. Cool. So that works. So that's the first thing that we need to change. So now when this loop runs, it's going to go to 6,500 different web pages. Now the next thing that we need to do is we need to store the market cap data in a data container, because right now the code is just printing it out, and it's kind of useless to us if it just prints out the market cap 6,500 times. So what we need to do is we need to create a list. Now a list is simply a data container. It's really easy to do. Test list is equal to square bracket, bang, you have an empty list. So if I type in test list, enter, there's nothing in there. Okay, so that's just an empty data container. So now we need to just create a container to put the data in. So we're just going to call this create an empty list to store all the market caps. Okay. So to do that, it's very simple. We're going to call this m cap list is equal to not equivalent. Equivalent, which is the two equal signs, that's when you're doing a logical test, like does 1 equal 1? Yes. Does 1 equal 2? No. Or is 1 equivalent to 2? No. But when you want to change the value of something, then you use equals. So then mcap list is equal to an empty list. So now, where we were previously, we were just printing out the value. We want to just put a hash sign in front, and that's commented out that particular line of code. So what that means is Python is not going to read that line of code. And what we want to then do is we want to put the market cap data into this list. So mcap list I. So that I is just saying at what number, what point in the list it is. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's sort of just labeling. And that I refers to this I over here in the for loop. So those two are linked together. So when that's 0, that's going to be 0. That's 1, that's going to be 1. mcap list I. Right, we're gonna do this another way first, just to demonstrate this. Mcap list is currently empty. So mcat list dot append. So that's basically saying just add this value on to the list. Append, and the function is what we have above here. Td find next sibling td.text. Okay. So now for now, just to demonstrate that this actually works, I'm just going to copy this, Control X, put it to the right, one side, and we're going to just do the first 3 lines. Okay, we're going to get this to loop 3 times. And just for kicks, just to show you that it's working, I want to print I. So select all of this stuff, go into your working area, go console, Control V, enter, 0, 1, there we go, it's run. So if I now type mcap list, it's brought back 3 values, which relate to, if I go to colist, we'll bring back the first 3 values, enter. So for those 3 companies, it's pulled out the market cap. Cool. So that's great. Let's get rid of this printing. We know it works. So now the next thing that we want to do is we're going to run this, and you'll see that when we run it, it's going to take like hours to run. So we need to set this up in a way so that it's able to save a file down every time it runs. And the way that I've used this method of just appending onto the list doesn't really lend itself to saving a file down.